Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. We are still expecting our winds to become much more windy on Thursday with some wind gusts up to 45 miles an hour. We do have a couple areas under a high wind watch where we could be having some wind gusts up to 65 miles an hour throughout Thursday and into Friday morning. And still expecting some big changes heading into this weekend. You can see some of the areas under a high wind watch. Again, these areas will be prone to 65 miles an hour wind gusts, which does include Bordeaux and the I-80 summit. That will be continuing until Friday morning. We are expecting our wind gusts to be increasing throughout the hours of Thursday morning. By the time we start off our workday, probably going to have some wind gusts around 40 miles an hour, if not a little higher. But we expect our wind gusts to be peaking closer to lunchtime or the early or late morning hours, and then slowly dropping a bit, probably turning more breezy for Thursday night. Peak wind gusts for Thursday morning through Thursday evening. Still going to have some areas close to 50 to 65 miles an hour. Just a bit of a breeze to the east and to the far western parts of the viewing area. And as we look at our winds, we're still expecting the strongest winds to be Thursday and then dropping down a little bit for this weekend. Still staying out of the southwest, which helps a little bit for our temperatures for Thursday. So for Thursday, still expecting temperatures to be warming into the 30s and then eventually into the 40s by around noon, 1 o'clock or so. Still expecting sunny skies. So we should be having a high of 42 degrees in Casper, a little bit above the average for this time of the year. Still going to have those winds out of the southwest around 20 to 30 miles an hour. And we have a little bit of a range in temperatures. Riverton, high of 30, some 30s to the south. And then you start seeing some 40s and even a couple 50s for Thursday. Rapid City, a high of 51, and Torrington, a high of 54. So we look ahead for Friday, and we might get a little bit of snow to move on in, but probably what's grabbing my attention more is that cold air that will be following behind it arriving Saturday. So we just talked about some 40s and 50s. Saturday, we're looking at a high of 13. Saturday night, a low of 8 below. And then Sunday, only warming up to 9 degrees. And it gets colder on Monday with a high of 6. Before that, still overnight lows. Could be as cold as 17 below as well. Not expecting a whole lot of precipitation as well after Friday, just possible light accumulations. And then we go sunny to partly cloudy, but we got some blustery days as well. It will be warming up a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday, but still much cooler than average.